Why is the Bible credited as the Word of God when people wrote it?
Well, okay, good. People wrote it, but when it says it's the Word of God, it doesn't mean that there's only a few words in the whole Bible that were directly from God, and even those were mediated by being written on a stone, for example. But God uses people. To say it's the Word of God doesn't negate the truth that it's also the words of people, but it just means that God inspired them. The word inspired in the Greek means to breathe. God breathes through humans to bring about a communication that he wants. And so it's the Word of God insofar as it's God-breathed. Now, you also find it's the Word of human beings. It's got cultural elements in it. Not all of it applies to all places at all times and things of that sort. You find, for example, that Mark's Greek is really kind of a street kind of a Greek. It's not nearly as eloquent as John, and they have their own styles, and Paul sometimes writes on and on and on and forgets that you're supposed to put a period in there. And so there's a humanness there too, but it's God-breathed, and that's why we call it the Word of God. In a way, that's analogous to if a person is really preaching truth, we often will say he's preaching the Word of God. But we don't mean that God is literally speaking through him. We just mean that was inspired. Now, I don't think any contemporary sermon is the equivalent of the Bible, but I'm just drawing an analogy there. So to say it's the Word of God means it's about how God uses these human words. It's not denying at all the human element in the words. Excellent.